going to talk about something I've been avoiding for over a year. Um, I only really know that because I went to my annual doctor's visit, and by annual I mean like my yearly checkup. Um, and she's like, "Have you done the fertility yet?" And I'm like, "No." So today we're talking about my fertility, and if you haven't seen I Am Shauna Ray or know nothing about the fertility through the Q&A sessions I've done, I went through my battle with brain cancer and chemotherapy, and somewhere down the line, my fertility got hindered in a sense. Um, my fertility is very low in the egg count or the AMH hormone. So from what I understand, on someone my age, on average, should be anywhere between a 1 and a 4 on this scale of egg count. And I am at this point 8.8. And this was in the beginning of I Am Shauna Ray's fertility journey, which was season 2. Um, so this was a bit ago, and I wanted to go through with getting my eggs frozen to save a chance. If I want to have children, I want the same opportunities as anyone else. So, in order to do that, I decided to go through with freezing my eggs. But I learned that at that time, and I don't know if currently, but at that time, my insurance would not cover anything. And the medicine alone would be 9,000 or something dollars. And it was a total that came to close to $15,000 to $20,000, and I did not have those funds at that point to go through with the procedure on my own. And because of that, I I didn't do it. And you know, it was a difficult challenge to not do it because I don't have the money still to really fund it. And I've been kind of hoping that I'll get money, and you know, I I made choices to start a business versus do this because I felt like my business is my hope. It is my baby in a sense, but I do still I've been lately having a lot of thoughts about, you know, if I do want a family, and, you know, if I do want a baby that looks like me, or if I want to go through adoption or whatever, at the end of the day, I genuinely don't care. A child, someone to raise, someone to grow with, in a sense, is all in the same for me. But there's something about the opportunity, the ability that I want. My entire life I've always, fought this belief that I am just like anyone else and I can do things just like anyone else can. And over time, over life, I've discovered that I can't, and it's okay. And that's been really, really hard. But I've accepted certain things about my fertility and the baby situation. At 16, I fully accepted that I, was not going to have children, and I was not going to be able to carry a child, or, even have a child that was related to me in that sense, be my egg. But through time, I really accepted that. And with I Am Shauna Ray season 2, bringing it up and giving me this hope, this, ability, this chance, and then it kind of being stripped away from me, it was a really hard thing to mourn. And I've been battling a lot of loss lately, and a lot of change, and a lot of sadness that's caused this. I I guess I would say situational depression. It's put me in a hole of sorts because it's a lot of money, but I really want to do it. I just want the opportunity that everyone else has. I don't think it's like fair, unfortunately. I think that everyone should have the rights to do those things, especially when people are so pressured to have children and keep children in this day and age. I think that you should give people the opportunity that want the opportunity to be able to do it the way they would like to do it. And it's just, at the end of the day, it's something I couldn't control. It's not like I knew about it at a young age. And unfortunately, my doctors didn't know about fertility at that time and point. They didn't know about what they could do to prevent it. They didn't know what chemo or cancer could do to the fertility part of the body. And, you know, a lot of that is preventable now, but it wasn't back when I had my cancer and I went through chemotherapy. So I had no control over my fertility being hindered. I had no control over what my cancer and my chemotherapy were going to do to my body. I had no choices in that. And, you know, whether my insurance sees it as relatable to my cancer or not, they probably are still going to decide not to cover it. I will have to have discussions with them, but I need to get at least 1 to 2 egg freezing kind of procedures done, which is double the money, within the next 6 or so months, probably sooner. I'm looking to do it within the next 2 months. Because within the last year, I not only dropped from 0.8 but to 0.6, and now I'm at 0.41. So I'm thinking by 26 I'll be infertile. And with every day that passes, probably is less of a chance. Which is like, okay. But it's really hard to accept, and I'm just here like, I need to do the egg freezing procedures as soon as possible. Whether it's I'm able to afford 1 or 2. I mean, I'm going to be on high meds, the doctor said. Because I had a discussion with a doctor recently, and this is where we discussed me being 0.41, and he had thought it had happened over years, and I told him it's probably happened over a year to 2 years, and that is very concerning for him. Not extremely, but I'm going to be on high dosage drugs. I'm going to basically be on these fertility drugs to basically produce more eggs so that way they can actually do the procedure and get the best benefit out of it, even if it ends up being 3/8. And he talked about eggs versus embryos, and we didn't talk much on embryos because I had discussed that I'm not looking to do embryos because I don't have my set out partner. You know, I am in a relationship. I am very committed to this person. This person's very committed to me. We've been together for quite some time, and you know, I do see them as being my future, but asking them to be the donor to my egg to make an embryo so I can freeze it for maybe 10 years or so in the future is a huge commitment. So I went into the appointment basically going, no, I don't think they're going to be up for it. I haven't really discussed it with them. I'm going to discuss it with them. And that's scary in itself because I don't know if it's going to lead to a disruption in the relationship. I don't know if it's going to end the relationship. I don't know if it's going to cause issues with anything like family or anything like that. Like, there's a lot of factors with asking someone to be a donor, and then if I don't do that, am I going to do embryo and get a donor, or am I just going to do egg freezing? Because there is a better chance of them surviving as embryo, they said. And with a lower egg count, maybe it is smarter to go embryo, and I'm already going to be on high meds, so I don't know. It's a lot of flippin' information, and my head just spun. And at the end of the day, what I took away from it is I'm going to be on high dose meds at least for a couple weeks, and I may potentially be during this period or during another period be what he described as brain dead. And he said, like, if you're filming or you're working or anything, I would suggest that you didn't. So basically, they're going to shut down my brain, or part of my brain that produces the egg, releasing process to produce more eggs to be released. It's really cool at the end of the day. I don't know all the information. I just went brain numb. So it was a lot. It was a 15-minute conversation that turned into like 40 minutes. And this doctor really knows their stuff, which is great. It makes me feel really comfortable with them. But I'm also still scared. And, he had mentioned, like, if we get like 7 eggs, there's like a three of them will probably survive to the point of where you'll inject them with the donor, and then you'll either put it back into yourself to carry, or you'll put it in a surrogate. And there's still chances that may not survive, that it may miscarry, or that it may be unhealthy or something. So it's like a very low chance no matter what. And I'm like, is it even worth it? But in my heart, I've gone over the conversation 1,000 times. And I don't know if I'm gonna have children one day. And I don't know if the eggs will be donated, because that's a whole other process. Because he said they may even deny it just because of my situation, even though it's not genetic. But and then it has to go through scannings and stuff. But even if they end up not getting used, or I don't use them, or I don't give them away, whatever the case, I feel I have to do this, because I feel if I don't, I'm going to ask what if my entire life, and if I end up somewhere completely different in life than I'm expecting, and I end up wanting that situation specifically, my own specific egg, my own child that way. Because no matter what, a child is my child, whether they're my own egg or not to me. But if I wanted to go through that road, I want to have the ability to. I want to be able to have the same things as everyone. And I've dealt with a lot of discrimination lately. I've dealt with a lot of social media issues because people think I'm under the age of 13. I've dealt with a lot of discrimination in person. My relationship has dealt with a lot of discrimination. And I'm okay with dealing with all of it. But I want the same opportunities as everyone. I want equality in this situation. And, I want to be able to move out and live my life and do things. And this is one of those things that I want to do. This is one of those things I feel like I need to do. So, have to go through with it. I'm gonna be broke as heck after it. And moving out's gonna be rough. But hopefully it'll all still be possible. But I'm gonna go through with it, and I'm gonna take you guys along for the journey as much as I can. Because whether you go through it or not, people deserve to know that opportunities like this are out there, and deserve to know how it actually is. So, not only will I not feel alone going through this journey, but maybe it'll help